I've been using Viktor for about a month now, and it's genuinely one of the most exciting AI tools I've used in a very long time. Every week, there's a new AI tool or AI agent promising that it will run your business and do everything for you, but it's fatiguing. They all require so much prompting and hand-holding and babysitting and delegating, but Viktor's not like that. It's the first time that I felt like this is what AI is supposed to feel like. Just a heads up, this video is not sponsored, but if you want to grab $200 worth of Viktor credits, you can get that down in the description. Okay, so what is Viktor? Viktor's an AI coworker that works with you in Slack or Microsoft Teams. Now, we use it in Slack, so I'm just going to refer to Slack in this video. So here's how it works. We added Viktor to our Slack account and then just sort of ignored it. And all of a sudden, he popped up in my DM and says, "Hey, Andra, I noticed that these are the things that you typically work on, and these are some things that I can take off your plate." Then it got interesting because we were in a chat, myself, Alex, our video editor, and we were wrapping up working on a video. And all of a sudden, Viktor comes in and says, "Hey guys, I noticed you're about to finish this video. Any chance you want me to work on getting the description ready for YouTube?" At that point, I'm thinking, this is a task that I've wanted to delegate to a human or AI for so long, but there's just so much nuance to explain how we do our descriptions, why we format our links in different ways, which types of links to use, that I've just never gotten around to it. So, all right, I'll give this to Viktor. He wants to take it off my plate. Now, my response back was lazy. I give it the most baseline answer I can possibly give, which is go and look at our YouTube videos to check for formatting and grab the right links from our website. And I come back about 5 minutes later, and Viktor had a pretty spot on V1 for me. And when I say spot on, it was 85% there. What's also interesting is because I was working with Viktor in this chat, my team members were already there. So Alex jumps in and he makes a correction to something that Viktor did. And we're going back and forth and we're truly collaborating. And that was the first magical moment where I then sent Alex a DM and I said, "Oh my God, this thing is literally like an employee helping us work." And this is the thing, when you're working with Claude or ChatGPT, you're typically working in this private side chat. So when you want to collaborate with someone, you're copy and pasting things back and forth and you're both having your own private conversations. But with Viktor, you're all getting to collaborate together. He works where you guys are already working. Before we keep going, add Viktor to your Slack or Teams account. So by the end of this video, you're already going to experience some of the magic that I'm talking about. We wanted to make sure that you can try it for free. So we reached out to their team and we asked them for an exclusive discount for our audience. So you can grab that down in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Now, I wasn't the only one that was having wins with Viktor because he also introduced himself to every single person on our team and explained how he can help them. And this is the magic of Viktor because he's not just good at one of these areas, he's good at helping everybody on the team. If you've ever hired humans before, you know it is impossible to find a human that is good at SEO and marketing and engineering and all of the different facets that require to run a business. And if you ever found that person, you would wonder how you even managed to find them and capture them to get them to work for you. But that's the feeling that we have when it comes to Viktor. So because Viktor is good at marketing and engineering, he's also becoming the glue that makes us as a team work better together. So for example, when I'm having an issue with our website and the back end and something's not working as I'd expect, typically I would mention this to our engineering team or to Alex, but now I can just message Viktor and say, "Hey, how do I do this?" Or "Why isn't this working?" And he will give me a summary. And if it's something that needs to pull in the engineering team, he will also say, "Hey, do you want me to write the code of how to fix this and create a ticket for them?" I also use Viktor to help me manage people and tasks. We've all been there. You ask someone on the team to do something, they forget, then you follow up, you kind of feel like you're nagging. Well, now with Viktor, I ask Alex, "Hey, can you review this newsletter?" And then I say to Viktor, "Hey, if he hasn't responded by Wednesday at 12 p.m., make sure to ping him." So Viktor does all of my follow-up for me, and I get to disconnect knowing that somebody's chasing what needs to get done and that my team members don't feel like I'm on top of them. You know, when a bot follows up, it's more okay. Now, with all of these examples, these are specific to our business, but that's why I want you to try Viktor yourself because he's going to adapt to whatever your business is. So that's the real magic. So just take what I'm saying as like a directional vision of what he does. Viktor also connects in with basically any tool that we've wanted. So everything from our calendar and email, our meeting notes, our knowledge base, our project management tool. So it has all of that context and it can search across all of those tools. So if you've been feeling frustrated by some tools having an MCP and connecting with Claude and others not, Viktor is that solution that we found that helps us really just connect everything all together. So now I'm going to pass it on over to Alex. He's going to talk more about some engineering and product use cases and also privacy and security.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I employ Viktor. I make sure all of the AI bots work. And if they complain, I don't give them PTO. As the CEO, my main job is really just to unblock the team. My day just consists of context switching. I'm doing sales one day, I'm working in product, working with engineers, and then I'm doing the website. I'm doing something different every day, numerous times a day. So in a way, being able to mention Viktor to just go and run on a thing while I go and jump somewhere else is where I've seen the most value actually come from it. The amount of time savings that have come from this has just been immense. The most unexpected part was when I added Viktor to the engineering chat and didn't really think much about it, but then I reported a bug to our engineering team. And instead of just leaving the bug where it was at, I said, @Viktor, can you look at our code base and let us know what might be the solution? And this is the part where I just left and I went and context switched and did my other stuff. And then I came back and saw that my brother, our head of engineering, had an entire conversation with Viktor, and I didn't even have to have anything to do with it. This bug was now solved, so any additional questions he had, he just got to ask Viktor, and I didn't have to be involved. At that moment, I realized that this thing is really special. Then the next time, Bob actually wrote something and asked me a question about engineering and what we should be doing from a product perspective, and he had the thought of, I'm just going to mention Viktor. And then he just went on and used Viktor as a rubber ducky, and Viktor more or less understood the product and what we're building and the code well enough that I just didn't have to be involved in that conversation. The interesting part here is that if there's a thread where I asked engineering to do something and there's been no response for 3, 4, 5 hours, it will chime into a chat if it feels like it will be helpful to chime in. So I think that's the tangible piece that's different when you're having AI in the actual chat app that you're using with your team, because your team very quickly starts seeing it as an employee or someone else that they're actually talking to, not just an AI that's siloed off elsewhere. So another thing that Viktor does is actually cuts down on the context switching that involves me. I'm noticing that my team, for example, Andra, will actually just say, @Viktor, how do I change this on the website? Viktor will look through the code base, figure out how to do it in the back end of Payload, and tell her how to do it. She would ask me to do that normally. So in a way, it's completely saved me from even needing to respond to it. So it's become almost this like shared repository of our entire company, and you just ask it before you ask me. You can also build skills in natural language with Viktor. For example, every time that we merge from dev to production, Bob would go in and create release notes for all of us on the team to understand what we did and what new features are on the site. Well, Viktor said, hey, I noticed that you do this every time. Do you want me to just monitor production, and anytime that you merge to it, we just create release notes for you? And we said, sure. So now it does. It's that easy. So on that point, if there's anything that you want it to do consistently, just ask it and it will. The point of all of this is that it is actually saving all of our engineers time. So when you actually look at the cost of what Viktor is, I'm seeing it as actually time savings of money that we were going to spend anyway. Okay, so you're probably concerned about privacy, security, and permissions. Can any employee go in and ask anything that they want about the entire business, from banking to meeting notes to my email? Or can Viktor accidentally go and delete our entire code base? I was worried about that too. So when it comes to your team having access to anything, when you add the integration, you can choose for it to be a team shared wide thing or invite only. With invite only, you have it just for yourself, and you can add individual team members if you want them to also have access. So for example, with banking, I've added Andra on as well, but that doesn't mean that anyone else can access it. With Granola, my meeting notes are my meeting notes. So I've connected it, only added myself. Andra connected it, Bob connected it. They have their own siloed notes. And then for the code base, I gave it read-only access to GitHub because that's kind of just a line that I'm not quite ready to step over yet. So it even goes to the most granular level at the API endpoint. So let's say, for example, you never want it to delete a customer. Well, you can turn that API endpoint off. But let's say that you want it to always ask for permission before it goes and creates a ticket. You can do that as well. And in Slack, anytime that it needs to go and do that action, it will actually pop up and say, do you want me to be able to do this? Yes, or always remember. And then in terms of general compliance like SOC 2 and GDPR, they have all of that handled as well. And with that, you're probably curious about pricing. So let me grab Andra and she'll show you how much we spend on it.
Now, in terms of pricing, Viktor is credit-based. So the more that you use Viktor, the more you essentially get charged. I know that might sound a little bit scary or weird, but I'll just tell you what we found. We pay for ChatGPT, we pay for Claude, we pay for I don't even know how many AI tools, but we find ourselves using Viktor the most. And that's because Viktor is where we are already working in Slack. So we found like our engineer has the highest usage of Viktor, and he's the one who is on the highest tier of all of these AI tools. For context, we're paying about $500 a month for Viktor at the moment, but we use it without guardrails. We just tell everyone to use it as much as they want, but you can put certain guardrails on Viktor under your settings. We justify it internally because at the end of the day, he has just been so helpful for each of us individually that it almost does not make sense for us to work without him, because without him, we're literally like losing productivity as a team. Now, if you want to make Viktor even more powerful, you're going to need to give it access to your entire company's memory. And the only way that you can do that is by using a tool like this one. See you there.